Okay, roll call, please.
Okay, I have 634. Mr. Alcazar,
Present.
Mr. Van Berenson,
Here.
Ms. Ford,
Here.
Ms. Francois,
Here.
and Mr. Schmidt.
Here.
Okay, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
I pledge allegiance
allegiance to the flag
of the United States
of America and to the republic
for which it
for which
stands,
stands
one
one
nation,
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Chairperson's statement. In accordance with the provisions of Chapter 231 New Jersey Public Laws of 1975, the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by the giving notice to the Courier News posting the agenda in the public lobby of this building 48 hours prior to this meeting. Delivery of this notice to the Franklin Township Clerk at least 48 hours prior to this meeting, and mailing notice to those persons properly requesting to be mailed notification of meetings at least 48 hours prior to this meeting. All right. So the next item is public comment section. May I have a motion to open the meeting for public comments?
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Any nays, abstentions? Motion passes. The meeting is open for public. Anyone wishing to speak from the public, please come on to the microphone, state your name and address, and you will have 5 minutes to speak. Anyone in the public? Hearing none, seeing none. May I have a motion to close the meeting for public comments?
Motion.
Second.
Second, Hazy.
All right, moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays, abstentions? Okay, the motion passes. Public comment section is closed. The next is approval of the minutes of the working session monthly board meeting of May 3rd, 2022. If you have gone through the minutes and if there are no comments, any changes, I would ask for a motion.
Motion.
Any second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor of approving the working session minutes of the monthly board meeting of May 3rd, 2022, say aye.
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 Any nays, abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes. The next is the executive summary of the professional reports. Executive Director, are there any special updates or anything that of significance you'd like to mention?
No, I'm just going to mention that we're going to combine 8 and 9 tonight, the executive summary and the executive director report for conservation of time. So for the previous month, we received in checks $1,556,746.42. Year date collected, we did very well. It's at $15,055,043.27. We still have an open balance of our billing cycle of $5,933,231.81. Penalties posted for the month of March is $19,833.16. For our expenditures for the month closing at April 31st, 2022, it was $2,277,304.02. Year-to-date expenditures was $11,512,379.65. I'm going to note that on the 11th month of our budget, we were 92% within our budget that we spent, and we are at 92% of the year. And that's the way I explained we did the budget, where by the end of the year, we reach 100%. That would be our bullseye mark. On our cash position in our unrestricted category, we have $1,421,636.76. Under our restricted category, we have $15,365,149.77. Under our designated category, we have $4,367,315.20. We have a total cash position, the sum of those three categories, of $21,145,101.73. Under discussion items, the budget will be fully ready to introduce at our July 5th meeting next month. And that would be our budget introduction that month. And then August would be our budget adoption. Our audit for 2021 has been completed, nothing new to report. Land acquisition at the end of Brookline has been completed. We're simply waiting for final documents. The PSC&G portion of the Weston Canal pump station move and rebuild plan, we did send a final site plan to PSC&G. They require that for them to make a decision what they're going to do with their land based upon our request to either buy the portion of their land or pay for an easement so we can build a pump station on it. We did mention to them that time is of the essence for the authority as our pump station continues to get flooded and we cannot obtain flood insurance for that location. I did have a discussion with the township manager today. I would like to form kind of a policy and practice of a partnership with them. For example, we have this Marcy Street rehabilitation neighborhood project going on, and it's come to our attention that, in addition to the curb and sidewalk repairs that the authority is disturbing and we have to repair it, there are other repairs that could also be done in these neighborhoods. And if we're already staging and our contractor and materials, that maybe we should expand that project in a partnership, shared services, if you will, with the township, and just simply expand our projects to help them with some of their work that they would not otherwise do. And that conversation was very successful today. Under rules, rates, and regulations, CME has drafted some updates and sent to me. This will be an ongoing process. I hope by the end of August we've completed the rules, rates, and regs update. But let me just stress that we are going to be required to, I'm going to make a strong recommendation that we raise our rates in order for us to continue being successful. The high bay garage, we do need a vote tonight I will be asking for the board to vote to approve the executive director to engage the vendor in between this meeting and the next meeting, so we don't delay another month. The attorney and the engineer are in the very final stages with our agreement with that vendor. And in order to lock in the prices and the cost of that project, we need to jump on the agreement and finalize it. Though it wasn't ready for last month's meeting, it's not ready for this month's meeting. It'll be ready in between. But if we wait till next meeting, they may not hold the price. If you recall, this project is going through a co-op, and the prices are very reasonable, but they are going up. There are economic reasons that prices are just increasing on the fly, and to avoid that, I'm asking the board to consider, discuss, and approve that we engage them, conditioned upon the approval of myself, the attorney, and the engineer, and not to exceed a cost of 1.25 million. There's a resolution tonight to vote on to go out for public bid to procure a grinder. So we have a vote and resolution on that. We also have a resolution that needs to be voted on for our connection fee. So the good news is our connection fee is going down this year. So it was $32.32 last year, and the resolution for today is $32.05. So it's going down by $27. Good news is the American Water, we did negotiate with them to subsidize some of the repair work in the Marcy Street project. This, as previously reported, was work that was needed to perform repairs due to their workmanship over a decade ago. The attorney and the engineer will be responding. I think the attorney needs to finalize his draft memo of understanding to American Water, and if they accept it, they're going to send us a check. Internal engineering, we have one connection for the month, 131 to date. Everything seems to be on track. The TRC reviews, the engineer has done 11 for the month. We are still conducting interviews for the 2 open positions in the office. That's the receptionist and the billing department. We still need to follow up on personnel committee for just general personnel matters and staff annual reviews. Southbound Brook, I did meet with Southbound Brook during their on the day of their last council meeting. I met with the mayor, Mayor Schaffner, and their attorney to casually discuss our arrangement. The conversation with the mayor and the attorney was very, very good. Things did change as soon as other council people showed up. They kind of interjected into our conversation, our meeting, because they showed up for their council meeting. It didn't go that favorable, but at least the result of that conversation is we have an understanding going forward that any request for new connections in that very specific neighborhood that flows into Southbound Brook, that we will not entertain an application to connect unless that person has a signed approval letter from Southbound Brook. And that's what we agreed to have an understanding of. It's a loosely woven understanding, but nonetheless, it's an understanding. New Brunswick. So, as you recall, many months ago, we had to rush over a final agreement to New Brunswick. I personally delivered that to the mayor's office, and we haven't heard from them since. And in courtesy to them, I call them 2 times a month to see what the status is, and they've had some unavoidable circumstances that have delayed them. But luckily, the delay is on their side, not our side. Under commercial opportunities, you should know that we had a very large tofu factory from the other side of the country that wanted to locate here, and they were doing a lot of things to get to that point, to build out a new tofu factory that was to be located on One Riverview Drive, that's near Randolph Road. They have since decided not to come to Franklin Township. I don't know why they abruptly canceled that project. I'll probably have more for you next month, but I'm certainly curious why they would spend hundreds of thousands of dollars and then abruptly cancel that project. Jeff Broker, all right, so the Jeff Broker contacted me to just let me know that Jeff rates are going through the roof and they're busy shopping for us. But we need to anticipate our insurance premiums going up. My guess is it's the exact same for the township. I think we might even use the same Jeff. I'm not sure.
They haven't paid any of our claims. Why would they raise our rates? Jesus.
I don't know. The rumor is that they might not be that solvent. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Under the community COVID virus monitoring, as reported last month, I did have a meeting with the mayor and Dr. Reddy from the county health department. It was an extremely productive and valuable meeting, and the two of them concluded that there is value in us not only monitoring our sewage for COVID virus, but to do it until September. So I acquiesced, and we're still continuing that once a week monitoring. And as we get the data in, I send that to CME. CME enters it into a database and a graph, and then I send it to Mayor Kramer and Dr. Reddy. Tonight, this standard resolutions in all 6 categories are present. That's payroll, operating expense, general fund, renewal and replacement, North Track, and escrow. What we have tonight that's not standard, it is not standard resolution, but it's regular. We have one resolution that addresses the windows and doors contract, and that resolution is authorizing the contractor named Murray Paving and Concrete to award them the bid to do our windows and doors. We have another resolution. It's somewhat a formality, but it is promoting one of our staff members in the maintenance department. And that staff member's name, I don't know if we can even, I don't know if I can mention the name, but it's on there. The next resolution is to authorize CME to do the coordination work with the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank, the request for authorization. And the last resolution involves a high bay garage, and that is the resolution that I previously noted that would authorize executive director to engage that vendor with the conditions of that it requires my approval, the attorney's approval, and the engineer's approval, not to exceed 1.25 million. The last items to vote on was the fence easements for 5 Buell Street and 31 Willocks. So just let you know, an easement is simply a right that we have on someone else's property. And part of that right is not to obstruct or obscure our access to that. It might be a little grass path. Often the homeowners want to fence in that area. So they can't do that unless they get our permission. So what I've instituted is a formal process and a document, an agreement that we actually have them sign. So instead of being vicarious or casual or word of mouth, we had the attorney draft up an agreement. They sent us an editable version. So when we're in a position to approve the building of a fence on our easement, which is their property, we have them sign an agreement that basically says if we need to get access to that, they have to pay us to take down the fence, and they have to pay for to restore the fence or any damage we do to the fence. So you will see these agreements coming more often. In the past, you never saw them come in. Now you're going to see them coming in because I want it documented with like a formal agreement. And here we have tonight, we have two of them. And that, since it is agreement, it needs a board approval. Councilman Ambarrison, that concludes my reports.
Thank you, Executive Director. Anybody has any questions?
Vice Chair Barrison, if I can. Joe, we also have a resolution to go out to bid for the Taskmaster Grinder.
Oh my gosh, I forgot that. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I'm always glad you're at my side. Thank you. I forgot about that. It's in your packet. It's on our vote list. I forgot to mention that. So we have a grinder mechanism in one of our pump stations that grinds things up to make it from bigger to smaller. This is a very unique grinder. We tried to avoid going out to bid, but because of the cost of that, it's above the QPA's threshold. We looked at it legally. We could not avoid going out to bid. So we need to go out to bid. More than likely, only one vendor is going to reply, but we have to go through this process. Thank you again, April. You're always the
Mr.
best.
Chairman, could I ask a question or two?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, so you mentioned the connection fees, and I probably misheard what you said. It sounded like you said they were $32 and it was going down $27, but I believe it was probably going from $32 to $27. Is that correct?
One connection fee was $3,232. The new fee is $3,205.
I'm sorry, can you repeat those numbers again?
Yes, sir.
I really misheard them then.
The old connection fee is $3,232. $32.32. The new connection fee is $3,205.
Okay.
And those amounts, I don't participate in those amounts at all. Those are developed through a formula, statutory formula that is calculated by our auditor based upon last year's numbers.
That last thing that you said probably answers my second question. I was trying to understand how you're strongly recommending raising rates.
Yep.
And on the other hand, connection fees are going down. So I'm trying to understand how that works.
Yeah, so good catch, Commissioner Schmidt, good catch. So that formula is a very static formula that they use. Unlike our user fee that takes into a lot of accounts, not only the elements of that formula, but it also takes into account our the user fee increase that I will be recommending takes into account our debt service, our debt covenants, our emergencies, our capital projects, and anticipated inflation cost increases. Those are the five big ones that I use for a rate increase. The connection fee formula takes into account mostly what happened last year. That's simple. That does more looking backwards than it does looking forwards.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question.
Go for it.
So I'm trying to follow. I heard our executive director mention that we had two agreements. I can only see one resolution unless I'm not following along properly. The only resolution I see for one agreement is the resolution 10. Where's the other one? And this one says authorizing the executive director to execute a design build agreement with Blue Scope Construction. What's the other one?
The two agreements that I mentioned were for the easements of the private properties to build a vet
So they're not in a resolution.
Uh,
But there are 3 more resolutions on page 4. Councilman. I think you are looking at page 5 that has got 2 resolutions, 10 and 11.
I don't know if we did resolutions for the easements, the
We
fence
did.
easements. I,
We did not. You were going to use, yeah, you were
Okay.
going to inform the board under your discussion notes, but there were no resolutions for them.
yeah.
Okay, okay. I thought maybe I was missing something. Thank you.
Yeah, the attorney wants us to memorialize it with a resolution next month, we can, but I need your approval to give them the approval to encroach on our easement.
I see. Okay. I was just trying to follow along. Thank you.
Very good. Anybody else? Anyone else? Okay. Committee reports, negotiations and personnel. Nothing to report.
Councilman Harrison, I'll just note again, I'd like to ask the personnel committee to meet again this month.
Okay.
For most of the topics we discussed during the last personnel committee.
Okay.
You had some action items for me, and I'm ready to sit with you again, you and the commissioner.
Okay. So we will provide a report after that meeting.
At that meeting, yes, I'm going to present performance reviews and options for you.
Okay.
And under construction, if someone wants to talk about what we did out at Marcy Street last week.
Commissioner Schmidt, you want to take that?
Ram, you go right ahead.
All right. Yeah, last week we were with the authority staff as well as township staff at the Marcy Street project, the repaving project. There were some concerns from the township, the way that the curves were fixed. So I think collectively the 2 organizations went through about 24 such instances or something like that, and I'm happy to report that they were able to come to an agreement which was reasonable and probably would solve the issues raised by the township staff, and I think it would probably save some money and effort from the authority side. So that's a good collaborative effort, I felt. And there were some deficiencies by the contractor, so CME would be contacting them and bringing them back to correct those deficiencies. But I think overall the scope of the rework, quote unquote, was significantly reduced as a result of this meeting that we all attended, and I think it's a great way to solve problems and in a collaborative way. So, because at the end of the day, both the township staff and the authority staff, we are going to be spending the public money. So it is our responsibility to ensure that such monies are spent wisely and efficiently. And I'm pleased to say that we were able to accomplish that. Joe, you want to add anything?
No, it was very successful. Kind of swung one way or the other. The township basically wanted us to basically rip out most of what we did in the work. But we had, board members and council members there, and they swung back the other way. But then we ended up looking at it, and I said, listen, why don't we start replacing curbs that, that aren't even involved, since we're out there anyway.
Yeah, so that's a good point. I was going to bring it up. So when we looked around, there were several curves that were completely broken, and the grass was literally coming onto the roadway. And if you're going to repave the whole street, the neighborhood, those broken curves, no curves in some instances, would be an eyesore. So I asked Joe if we could somehow, as a goodwill, kind of fix those curves so the township doesn't have to come back and just do those sections alone. So I think we found a way to do that. Joe, is that true?
I'm working through that. The attorney, Brian Hack, brought up some good points. So I consulted with him and Mike McClellan, and we believe we're able to navigate a path to do that. It's complicated because of the I-Bank, because we're getting funding.
Yeah.
We're getting loads from them. So you have to disclose different things and more paperwork. But one way or another, we can get it done. But this is an opportunity since we're digging up the neighborhood anyway.
Yeah.
We might as well do as much work as we possibly can. And that's part of the conversation I had with Bob Warlocker today is, hey, if we're trenching, why don't we hold off at some point to see if the township needs to dig and to do anything? And if they don't, then let's look at curbs and sidewalks or our stormwater basins. What we don't want is repeated paving just because you were digging. We should dig once and then pave once.
Good plan. All right. Safety committee.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. I have a question,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman. So is this the first time we've collaborated to this effect?
So there was some collaboration on the Somerset Street pump station where we did not pave the road. We waited for the water department to do their work, and then they're going to send us a bill for half the paving. But that's the extent of what I know of the collaboration. But Bob Warlocker and I have committed to each other to sit down with the town when we first start even talking about a project. Because a lot of people like myself didn't know that the township has their capital improvement project list. So you know about that at certain times, and we know about ours at certain times. Let's try. Earlier we talked, more opportunity there is to coordinate.
Yeah.
Because the residents don't like when you tear up their streets, even though you're making improvements. It's disruptive. It's ugly. There's dust and rocks. So that's it. And also, like in Moore Street, there is damage all throughout that street, but it's either not enough for the township to send a contractor out there, and it will be more expensive for the township to do it because it's piecemeal work. But I already have a contractor out there that already responded to as the lowest bid. And if they extend that price, I can extend my work I do beyond that, what the sewage authority is responsible for, and help beautify, repair, or make safer the neighborhood. I think we have a responsibility to the ratepayers, taxpayers to synergize and to get the most for our money.
So when the township is doing like capital improvement programs on sidewalks, would that be another opportunity for collaboration? Depending on what
sidewalks, it depends on whose work starts first and who's got to do the work. Meaning, if there's a sewage problem or a water problem, it all depends on the urgency and legal requirements. But anytime you're digging up a street, we should be talking.
Okay. Thank you. That's good information. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's very good.
I'm very enthusiastic about this, and I think Bob was maybe a little surprised with the phone call today, but it was very successful.
Okay.
Great progress. Thank you.
That's the way we have to work. Yeah. Excellent.
And let me just say, the extra work being done is coming out of our budget, not the township budget.
I know.
Oh, same pocket, right? Left pocket, right pocket.
Right pocket, yeah.
It is same pocket, but it's a budget expense that the authority has to manage.
Yes. Thank you. Great update.
All right, very good. Anyone else on this subject? Otherwise, we'll ask for a safety report. I assume, Scott, safety-wise, everything is good?
There was no accidents or injuries for the month. That's correct.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to the next item, the approval of the resolutions to be done by consent agenda. All of the items listed below are considered to be of a routine nature, thereby requiring one motion and 1 second for all items. If any member wishes to remove an item from the consent agenda, please advise at this time which resolutions need to be handled separately, and they will be addressed and voted on separately. Anyone wants to pull an item? This is your time. Okay, hearing none. We have 6 resolutions. Resolution numbers 0607 2022-1, 0607 2022-2, 0607 2022-3, 0607 2022-4, 0607 2022-5, and 0607 2022-6. They're all different payroll accounts, operating expense account, etc. May I have a motion, please?
Motion, Jesus.
Any seconds? Anyone seconding?
Second, Francois.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any nays or abstention? Okay, hearing none, the motion passes. Next item on the agenda is additional resolutions. We would be doing motion for each one separately. Resolution number 0607 2022-7. The resolution authorizing a contract with Murray Paving and Concrete for the replacement of the exterior windows and doors at the authority's administration building and garage offices through the Educational Services Commission of New Jersey cooperative pricing system. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Second?
Second, Jesus.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Any nays? Abstention? Okay, hearing none, the resolution passes. The next resolution is number 0607 2022-8. Resolution promoting Andrew Tina to the title of sewer maintenance person, retroactive to May 4th, 2022, at a new rate of pay of $25.90 per hour. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
A second, please.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Any nays, abstentions? Okay, hearing none, the motion passes. The next resolution is number 0607 2022-9. Resolution authorizing the authority chair and authority secretary to execute an agreement with CME Associates Incorporated to provide professional engineering services with regard to the submission of a loan application to the New Jersey Infrastructure Bank for funding associated with the upgrades of the Commerce Drive pump station. Like a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Any nays, abstention? All right, hearing none, the motion passes. We are on a roll here. Resolution number 0607-2022-10. Resolution authorizing the authority's executive director to execute a design build agreement with the Blue Scope Construction Incorporated for a pre-engineered building and with related materials, site preparation, installation, and ancillary services for the High Bay Garage project.
So moved.
Motion. Second.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays, abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes. Resolution number 0607-2022-11. Resolution approving the advertisement for the receipt of bids for a Taskmaster Grinder, model TM14032D or equivalent, to be purchased on a proprietary basis. May I have a motion, please?
Motion.
Motion, Jesus.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Any nays, abstention? Okay, hearing none, motion passes. That's all the resolutions we have. And the next, moving on to the next agenda item is a executive session. I don't believe we have an executive session today, right, Joe?
I don't believe so, Councilman.
Okay, very good. So,
Before I confirm that, April, is that your understanding?
Correct.
All right, excellent.
okay, all right. Action items from the meeting. Okay, I think we are at the action items from the meeting. Is that a new agenda item?
No, that's been on there, but I have all the action items for the minutes. We're good.
Okay, all right, very good.
We do that after the meeting, Councilman. April and I usually get together on action items just to,
Oh, okay, all right.
we don't lose anything.
Very good, very good. All right, so we are at the end. Motion to adjourn. We are ahead of time. That's good job.
Good job, Councilman. Motion
Yes.
to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All right. Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any nays, abstention? Who wants to continue the meeting? All right. Okay. All right. Go and watch the results, fellas.
If you haven't voted, everybody go out and vote now.
Meeting was
Good night.
adjourned. The meeting was adjourned at 7:17.
Good night, everyone.
Have a
Good night.
good night, folks.
Have a good night.